Step out of your box every Tuesday night on Awakening Code Radio, right here on KX 93.5, Laguna's only FM radio station.
We've gone into this life. You were started as a chiropractic, and chiropractic covers so many disciplines revolving around our health.
Yeah.
Our design, more or less. That's what I love about it. Is it looks at the whole design of what we are.
And chiropractic's amazing. Based on a principle that the power that makes the body heals the body, and if you can keep the spine in proper alignment, then you can really empower that body to be its fullest potential. And and I love chiropractic. I love adjusting the body, but I found that after adjusting the spine so many times, there needs to be a whole other level of understanding, and that's when I discovered of acupuncture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I went over to Sri Lanka, and I went over to Beijing, and I studied Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine and aspects of homeopathy, and all really incredible things with some really neat people, where I started to see how these natural modalities of holistic healing begin to integrate to give people different options that a lot of times in our Western world we don't see as an option.
Well, a lot of times we just don't look at the whole body.
Yeah.
We're getting into that place now, but generally you go and present, I have this pain right here, and they will just look right there.
Well, we live in a real specialized world, don't we?
We do. Well, here in the Western medicine model, we sure do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a couple of my own things to work through, and it's never like, well, let's look at the whole picture of why that may be. It's just like, well, we can take that thing out, or we can hide its pain symptoms with drugs or something. It's like, but my personal path is revealed to me this true holistic nature of what we are, this mind, body, spirit cycling of our awareness, and it's like, and it is so invigorating because everybody I'm sure listening to the show is much more aligned with this. That there's much more in our design. There's so much beauty and elegance and grace in the way we are designed, and it's always talking to each other. We talk about the chakra system all the time here, where we have these different elements of ourselves communicating with each other if we allow them, if we're aware that we do have these, and how we can block that flow of our lower base nature communicating with our heart-loving nature, and how important it is to be open and aware of these different aspects of ourselves, and very possibly literally residing in these different areas of our body, which is an amazing concept, but it feels, someone can attack you verbally to where they just make you feel threatened, but you'll feel something like in your throat. Like if you're trying to defend yourself, you'll feel this tightness in your throat, or you'll feel that cramping in your stomach. It's like, well, why that?
Well, the body speaks the mind.
That's right. The body speaking the mind.
Yeah, and so it's so neat because in, just bridging the Western world with this concept of the mind, we know the Western world appreciates the mind because they compare every drug that is used and passed by the FDA to a placebo. And, there are studies now out in Harvard that say that the placebo effect is effective up to 95% of the time, which lets us know that our mind is that powerful to heal something that actually it doesn't have the active ingredient whatsoever. So whether it be someone who's a hypochondriac, or whether, where they get themselves sick, or whether it be like, oh, I can think a positive thought, I can get myself into a relaxed state of being. What if instead of putting billions of dollars into pharmaceuticals, which actually serve a purpose at times, which are really great, but what if we actually put billions of dollars into understanding the mind and evoking its fullest potential? And that's what the Lifeline is. The Lifeline is really about understanding how your mind becomes a tool rather than a tormentor.
Right, and so often that's what it kind of is. Our thoughts, if we're not filtering them or conscious of the thoughts that we're allowing our mind to think, we are bombarded. We forget. We kind of participate in society, and it feels very normal to us to see the news and look at billboards and see the magazines on the shelves, and we're not really thinking in any kind of reflective way, what is it that we're participating in? And it is a giant machine that it's big companies that say we need to keep selling whatever it is, the news or the magazines or whatever it is. And the way we do that is we draw you into a message of fear. We sell on fear. It is fear. We've heard that people will tune into a positive message, but our research says no. So we're going to keep selling you the fear, telling you that you are not enough, you're not beautiful enough, you're not strong enough, you haven't saved enough money, you don't drive a nice enough car, all of these things, and we're going to keep you sucked into that matrix just because that's where you buy things. That's how we make our money, is keeping you tuned in to watch the commercials, to buy the products, this loop and loop and loop. And if you're not aware of that, it just seems like, well, that's normal life.
Right.
And it's not that does not have to be normal life.
No. And it's a fact that we are programmed. And when we begin to understand the difference between what it means to be a conscious observer, what it means to be aware of yourself and those, I love what you were saying, Eric, as far as like, oh, somebody attacks you and you feel that in your throat. I mean, most people are not in tune with their emotional state of being. And in fact, we're told that when we start to feel anxiety, depression, overwhelmed, well, make that go away. And so many people are on different drugs that numb themselves that we don't even know how to process our emotions. And what an incredible opportunity we have right now to begin to understand that our emotions are actually the doorway, they're the frequency to this field of energy that's connecting all of creation. And when we can begin to harness our emotional potential, we can rewrite our programs that are affecting our body's fullest potential for healing and our fullest potential for manifesting what it is that we truly desire. And what we truly desire is to have peaceful, loving, compassionate, accepting, wonderful lives and relationships and world.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we've talked about this, is that everybody really is so much the same all over the world.
Yeah.
If you put a whole bunch of words and isolate them, or just scatter a bunch of words on a board and ask anybody, there's words like health or disease, happiness or sadness.
No brainer.
Yeah, no brainer. Everybody's going to put, I want those things in my life, and I would prefer those things not to be in my life. But you can't live unconsciously and expect that to happen. If you were just automatically going through your life, we're automatic breathers. We talk about that on the show, versus like dolphins that are conscious breathers.
Right.
We're automatic breathers. We do a lot of things automatically, and we get in this rut where we live automatically. We're so busy putting out all the little fires of our life, the keeping the job, the making sure the family's taken care of, the maintaining the cars, the yard, the house, all of those balls in the air. It feels like there's very little time to pursue anything else that really is that super important conversation we're supposed to be having with ourselves, the one that we're having right now, and that you get to have all the time because you're made it your profession to do that. Mm-hmm. But that is a choice we make. That is the first thing we need to do, is decide or realize I have that choice. That's the thing that takes you to that scene in The Matrix where he is unplugged from the machine and says, I see now, at least. I don't know where it's going. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I see that I have been plugged in, and I'm unplugging myself on purpose from this machine.
And what's amazing, though, also, is that we are in the Matrix. And even when we are unplugged from it, the amazing thing about it is we don't get to choose what happens to us. We get to choose how we respond.
That's right.
Because the subconscious mind, which is the reactive mind, that automatic mind that you were talking about, it's incredible. And what it does is it's the greatest orchestrator of this symphony of 50 plus trillion cells. Every organ, gland system. We can have a cool conversation right now, me and you, without having to say, oh man, I just had this great wedge salad and now I need to digest it. I don't have to. My system's going to do it all on its own. But beyond that, the subconscious mind is the most incredible storehouse. More than all the computers combined on this planet, the subconscious mind stores every memory, every experience you've ever had from conception onward and preconception and beyond. And not even your own, but everybody else's experiences. And what's wild is when our subconscious mind has memories that have not been fully integrated, not been fully processed, the emotions that are associated with these memories, when they get triggered by certain colors, sounds, taste, boom, it's Pavlovian. We, in a conditioned way, begin to react as if that memory is going on, even though we don't remember it. And then all of a sudden, that throat gets tight. All of a sudden, we start to feel this butterfly, anxious feeling. All of a sudden, I've got acid reflux. I've got pain in my neck. All of a sudden, I'm shouting. These are reactive patterns. And like you're saying, so many people are unconscious. And the first step is, I want to make a change. Second step is, as we observe our bodies and we observe our lives, it's so important that we redefine what symptoms, stress, and disease really mean, because we've been duped into thinking that pain, fear, and stress is the bad guy, even though they might suck when we feel them. Pain, fear, and stress is the most intelligent conversation we can ever begin to have.
Awakening Code Radio is available on podcast. Visit www.kx935.com. Click podcast, then scroll to Awakening Code's previous shows.